Shows Your Glory is a cry from the heart for people to turn back to God and to cry out to Him, to come and heal our land, to come and save our land. And I wrote it last year, but felt I really needed to record it and get it out there now, especially as the coronavirus pandemic was tightening its grip on the world. I went to meet my producer Gary White. We finished an hour before the Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced lockdown in the UK, so it was very timely. I really hope that people share the song and it gets out to as many people as possible, because it's a cry from the heart to God to turn back to Him, and boy do we need Him right now. Hi, I'm delighted to announce that Thank You Jesus has been nominated for the June UK Christian Chart. You can play your part in helping to get the song's profile raised and out to as many people as possible by helping to vote for it. It's on list number 1 on the UK Step Forward Christian Chart website. Details coming up shortly, but thank you so much for your support and for your help. This is a song that talks about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I want as many people as possible to hear it, to hear that message, and hopefully it will help to play some small part in people coming to know Jesus Christ. Thank you so much once again, and please vote. Here are the details. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Social Distancing Live with me, Rob Westall. And as you just saw there, the Thank You Jesus has been nominated for the June chart, which is fantastic. So really would appreciate it if you could vote for the song. Really did value Shows Your Glory getting as high as it did last time. Did not expect that at all, and it really did help. So Shows Your Glory, as well, as you saw, is going to be out on Spotify, etc. on Friday. So there's a link by user, and you can pre-save it, and I'll be dropping that in the comments at some point. Maybe I'll give that to Anna to drop in the comments. She's on the comments tonight. Hello to Anne Phillips. Good evening, Anne. Hope you're well. Anne says, good evening, looking forward to tonight's blessings. Yes, so are we, Anne. We've got two very special guests, Tim and Ellie Button, on, who are going to come on in just a moment. But first, let's just say hello to everybody. Gavin from the Rhondda. Hello, Gavin. How are you doing? Hope you're well. And my wife Anna, of course, is on the comments as per usual. Any comments or questions for tonight's guests, please drop them in, and as we go through, I'll try and get those questions to them. And hello to Janice Jones, aka my mother-in-law. Hope you're well. And hello to Rachel Denny. Hi Rachel, hope you're well. Good evening. Michael, good evening everybody. I hope everyone is well. Looking forward to hearing great testimonies and songs from Rob and his guests. Thank you very much, Michael. Great to have you back on. And if you are watching and tuning in, please drop a little note in the comments. Say who you are and where you're watching from, and we'd love to say hello to you. It is social distancing, after all, social distancing live but online. So tonight we've got two very special guests, Tim and Ellie Button, and I'd like to introduce them now. Hello guys, how are you doing?
Hi. Thank you.
You okay? So where are you based?
We're currently in Hull at the moment, staying with Tim's mum, which we're very thankful for.
Brilliant. Yeah. So how has lockdown been for you guys?
It's been good so far, as good as it can be.
Yeah, I think for everybody it's such a surreal time, isn't it?
Yeah,
something we never thought, oh yeah, I'm going to live through a pandemic.
Yeah. It's
really not all good, but to be able to share that with the grandkids one day, you know, we never thought that'd happen, did we?
No.
So we're just trying to do what everyone else is doing and make the best of the situation. And do what we can at this time.
Yeah.
Marvelous. And so, Ellie, of course, you released singles as well. You were in the chart. I was just referring to just before you came on air. Actually, you also were in the top 20 with your song. And we're going to hear some of your music tonight. Some fantastic music as well. But I wanted to start by talking about, you've got an interesting, that you the way that you arrived at Hull wasn't straightforward, was it? You've come from somewhere in Europe to get to Hull.
Yeah, so we had served in Moldova as missionaries for the past 18 months, 16 months, about that anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, we were there serving together as independent missionaries, not part of a ministry or anything, but God just called us to go out there. It's one of Europe's poorest countries, so it was an interesting experience. But we knew some people out there already, some amazing missionaries from America, from UK. So we were part of an incredible church out there, the International Christian Fellowship. So we had some really good connections there. So we spent our time there just serving other missionaries and doing what we can do. So we went from there to here.
Wow. And how long were you there for? Was it a long? Were you there for just basically, for those of people who don't know, where exactly is Moldova, first of all?
So Eastern Europe, it's between Ukraine and Romania. So it's landlocked. And essentially, when the fall of communism happened in 1991, Moldova was just left abandoned. It's a really sad place when you look at it on paper. And going out there originally, we thought, man, this is all going to be doom and gloom. But quite simply, the people are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The heart of the locals is incredible. God is moving in an incredible way over there with the youngsters coming through. You've got so many expats living there, serving the Moldovan people. And, like anything, we believe there is hope in the most barren of places. So when we heard, hey, this place is barren, this place is desperate, we thought, yes, but there's hope. There's always hope.
So how did you come about to get to Moldova in the first place? Because it's quite a random place. I mean, I've only heard of it. I'm a massive football fan, and Wales ended up losing to Moldova on my birthday one year, which was quite tragic.
Wow.
So because they are rubbish. But how did you get to hear about it, and what burnt on your heart to get over there and serve over there?
Well, first of all, I'm very surprised Wales lost to Moldova, because Moldova never win football matches.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, well, I think it started probably in about 2012, where the thing that really got me originally was anti-human trafficking, hearing of these young girls and women being trafficked and abused and all the horrible, horrible stuff that comes with that. And that was the point where God got my heart. And I went out a couple of times to do like week-long gospel camps where we'd serve maybe 150 girls, and we'd be part of the team. We'd do worship, we'd have Bible studies, we'd have games, fun activities, water fights. And throughout those times, some of the girls, if not a lot of them, got to know Jesus for the first time. And it was a really incredible thing. And I came home one time and I said to Ellie, like, the Lord's doing something in Moldova, and I feel in my heart that it's more than just going out there for a quick visit to go and do these 1 week camps, then come back. And you pretty much laughed it off. No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you want to share a bit about how you...
Yeah, so I was a bit apprehensive about going to Moldova. I'm not a very natural, adventurous person, really. God has made me adventurous. I'm not. And so we were going through quite a difficult time when we were in Portsmouth. We lived in Portsmouth for a while, and we just had a lot of difficulties, lots of friendships that were going a bit iffy, and it was just a really hard time. And one Monday morning, I was just like, God, speak to me about what's going on in our lives. We need some clear, we need to hear your voice clearly about what's coming next. And God just broke my heart for Moldova there and then. He just said, you need to be in Moldova. You need to take this step and go for it. And I rang up Tim. He was at work at the time and I was at home. And I was just sobbing down the phone to him and just saying, Tim, God's just said this to me. We need to go to Moldova. And Tim's reaction was he just laughed at me. He was just like, what? This is insane.
But yeah, because I'd shared with a lot of my close friends
Yeah.
that I've got this massive thing birthing inside of me, but I really didn't think Ellie was going to get it.
Yeah.
Because I knew she didn't, have a passion for going to Eastern Europe. But then when that happened, boy, I chuckled so much. I couldn't stop laughing because I just thought, man, the Lord can do anything. If he needs to get someone from A to B, he will do it. He will seriously do it.
Yeah, so that's what we did. We'd actually just renovated our house, made this beautiful home for us. And we had to sell it and sell everything we owned and packed everything away in my mum and dad's garage. Thanks, mum and dad. And move out to Moldova.
Wow. And so you went over there and served over there. Just a few comments has come in actually. So Phil says, have been and preached in Moldova. I agree, they're such lovely, friendly people. And then my wife says, thanks for asking where it was, Rob.
Yeah.
So in terms of how long were you there and what type of things did you do when you were there?
Yeah, so we moved out, I think it was September 2018, and we arrived back in the UK February this year, just before lockdown.
Wow.
And I think originally we went out there and we thought we were going to be doing constant village outreaches. The villages are so poor. These elderly people are left abandoned with nothing. Their family members have left them. And so we thought, hey, yeah, good old Westerners, let's go out and just fix everything. And we got about 3 months in. We were doing all that stuff. We were working with other people that were doing great stuff. And then we just had this conversation where we both felt like we hadn't accomplished what the Lord had for us. So we sat down and we prayed together and did a bit of soul searching, really. Why has the Lord got us here? Why has he got us specifically here? Because there's so many amazing missionaries already doing the aid kind of humanitarian aid things out there. So I went downstairs. My adopted dad from America, David Crossman, lived the apartment below us. And I knocked on his door and I said, David, I've got to have a chat with you. This is what we've been talking about. And he said to me, yeah, don't worry, son. I've got the answer for you. And so I thought, yes, I can always count on David. So he sat back in his armchair, chilling out, and he said, you know what you need to do? And I was just listening intently. He said, you need to do nothing. And I was thinking, oh, you crazy man. Do nothing. We're here as missionaries. We've got to be go, go, go. And he said, yeah, you are here because God's called you. He's given you something he's not given other people. He's got a unique calling for you. And what he needs to do is use you where he needs to use you, rather than you saying, God, follow me here, God, follow me there. Actually start tuning into what the Holy Spirit's saying and leading you and follow his voice. And that was a game-changing moment. I've said it a lot recently. Like, that was one of the pivotal moments where the whole journey changed for us, if I'm honest with you. And then we started to see the Holy Spirit moving in all our activity we were doing, and we've been able to be led by him. And the whole thing changed. We ended up being an integral part of the International Christian Fellowship. We began working with international Indian medical students, lots of other different nationality students as well. We kept doing the outreaches to the villages, but we started using local people to do the work rather than us kind of giving handouts. We prayed for people. We went to children's homes. It was the most amazing, life-changing experience from that point on, and it's one we'll always remember. And then sadly in one way, the Lord was clearly calling us back to the UK from February. So we came back, and then lockdown.
I mean, incredible timing, really. I mean, just before lockdown, late March, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Literally.
We were actually midway through a UK cafe church tour with the new album. We were midway through it, and then got announced, lockdown's happening.
So you have to cancel the rest of the tour.
Yeah, cancelled, life on hold, like everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I can relate to that. I lost all my gigs as well. So yeah, it's the way it is. But thanks for coming on tonight, and we're going to hear some of your music in just a moment. So Ellie, this is your latest single. It's called My Beautiful Child, and can you tell us a little bit about what it's about and the inspiration behind the song?
Yeah, so this song was written and recorded in Moldova, which was a real blessing. But this song is all about, our identity, who we are in Him, how He sees us. When I moved to Moldova, I had to push through a lot of fear. Even though I knew I had that calling in me, that God was calling me to go, you still have to push through a lot of human feelings, the fear and the doubt. But yeah, in this song, God was just revealing to me how He sees me. I'm His beautiful child, that I've nothing to be afraid of. He's with me all the time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
This is My Beautiful Child by tonight's special guest, Ellie Button.
Walk in the freedom that I've poured out for you. Leave all your fear now. It's time to know the truth. Come rest in my presence. Come take this gift of peace. Hide in my shelter and let me rescue you. Let me show you the beauty I see when I look at you. And I just can't take my eyes from gazing at your face, my beautiful child, my beautiful child. Walk in the fullness
Fantastic, absolutely beautiful there. That was My Beautiful Child by tonight's special guest, Ellie Button, and her husband Tim, who are a very special guest here on Social Distancing Live tonight. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the comment section below. We've been hearing about their life as missionaries in Moldova, and of course we just heard that fantastic, beautiful song there, My Beautiful Child, the latest single by Ellie. And that, of course, is available on all streaming sites. And we'll ask Ellie herself where that's available in just a moment. Guys, it's hard for you to squeeze into that little space, I'm afraid, sorry, on the split screen. But I just want to give a few comments to you. So Bean Baker, of course, who you both know, says, wow, such an adventurous couple, inspiring. And then he follows that up with stunning song, loving it, smashing job, guys. My wife Anna says fantastic song. Louise Ingle, hi Louise, hope you and Glenn are well. Beautiful anointed song, love it, with a massive smiley love heart eyes emoji thing. And Janice Jones, my mother-in-law, says lovely, absolutely lovely. And Bean Baker's got a question. What is your favourite lyric from the album is Bean's question. So we better talk a little bit about the album first, I suppose, to put that into context.
Yeah, sure. Favourite lyric? That's such a hard question. It probably is from My Beautiful Child, the first lyric, walk in the freedom that I've poured out for you, which is just so powerful to me because it's not even my lyric, it's from God, you know?
Yeah.
All these lyrics are completely God's, and I just love in these lyrics that, yeah, I hope they're blessing other people, but really through these songs, God was just reassuring me what he thinks of me and telling me what I can do if I walk in the freedom of knowing him.
Yeah.
Like living in a foreign country, I couldn't have done in my own strength at all, like no way. But walking in the freedom that God has given me, I did it in his strength. And yeah, God is amazing. It's so adventurous when we follow him. It really is.
Yeah, it's not dull, is it? And that is so awesome, actually, because the first song I wrote on my journey when I started writing the debut album, which was out last April, was "I'm forgiven because of you. I can walk free." So when he picked up that line, then I just thought of that line immediately. The fact that, you know, as Christians, we have been set free. We are given freedom, but we don't always walk in that freedom, do we?
No, it's so true. It takes the decision, I think. You know, it's a choice to choose joy. It's a choice to choose his freedom. Sometimes it can be such a mind battle to decide and to just go for it. But yeah, I appreciate all those lovely comments. Thank you so much, everybody. And hi, Bean.
So basically, just in terms of the single, that's out now. Where can people get that from, Ellie, and where can they get all your stuff?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, because I'm not too sure.
Well, all the songs across all the digital platforms, you know, I'm sure if you just type in Ellie Button, My Beautiful Child, you'll see it on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, YouTube, those kind of things. Or you can always go to elliebuttonmusic.org to do a pre-order on the actual physical if you like CDs.
Yeah, if you're old
I love
school.
CDs. So, yeah.
Can't beat a CD, absolutely. And the markup on it for artists are much better than streaming prices. So fantastic.
Exactly.
Not that it's about money, but it's our living. In terms of the album, when is that coming out? Is that, so you said about pre-orders, so when is that out? When can people get it if they pre-order it today?
Yeah, so we're actually releasing singles all the way through, probably every 4 or 5 weeks, I think they're releasing. We're trying to keep it pretty consistent throughout lockdown, just trying to encourage people through this time. And I think the actual official date, so don't hold me to this if it's slightly out, I think it's August the 14th.
Wow.
But, you know, if you want the physicals, you know, put your pre-orders in now and we can get them out maybe a little bit before that.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell you that.
That's an incentive. That's an incentive right there. So brilliant. So we're going to use some more music in just a moment. But Tim, I just wanted to ask you, and I'm going to come off the screen so we can see both of you. So Tim, I just wanted to ask you about your faith, really. How obviously you went and served as a missionary in Moldova with Ellie, but how did you become a Christian? Where did the journey begin for you?
Wow, what a huge question. Where do we start? So let's start at the beginning. I was very fortunate to be born into a Christian home. Always went to church, was loved by my family, brought up as a child should go. I had praying grandparents. Yeah, should have been easy, really. It was all on a plate for me. About the age of 14, I started getting in with the wrong crowds and experimenting with things that a 14-year-old shouldn't be experimenting with. Turning up to school with hangovers, things like that, just shouldn't be happening at that age. But throughout this whole thing, I still, went to church. So I still I knew who Jesus was. He wasn't a stranger, but I wasn't walking in the fullness of what he had for me, for the purpose he had for my life. And the age of 18, I got baptized. I had an amazing encounter with Jesus at Kingdom Faith, which is in Peterborough, I think, at their kind of youth camp. And I remember that I was going to change the world for Christ. I was on fire. I'd experienced his love like never before. And so I got baptized with all my friends that summer. And then the September, I moved down to Portsmouth, where I began basic training for the Royal Marines Band. And this was a career I had always dreamt of doing. My dad was in, and my brother's still in now. And I went down, did my training, and I thought it was all going to be cushy. And then I discovered when you move in, essentially living and doing life with another 45 young adults, male, age 18, things can get tough, and peer pressure can be tough. And it to be honest, it was an amazing 10 years. It was the best 10 years I could have ever have wished for. And it was an amazing experience. I did some incredible things, high profile performances for the Queen, amazing venues, what any musician would love to do, playing at the front of the Royal Albert Hall stage, doing a solo, it was all there. And when you look at it on paper, it looks pretty nice. But a couple of years into that journey, what I discovered was these little things that I'd started getting into at the age of 14 started to creep back in. And where there wasn't somebody over my shoulder saying, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing that, I just got into a really bad social life, which, started off with a bit of partying on a weekend and a bit of gambling here and there, and, smoking, all the usual stuff that comes with it, women, all the stuff was there. And it wasn't until 4 years later that I realized actually I was actually quite heavily addicted to a lot of things. I would be in on a casino on payday, and by 12 o'clock that lunchtime, my whole pay packet had been gambled away. I was drunk, I'd drink midweek. So if I felt rubbish from drinking, I would then go out and drink again and party hard. Because it was my way of dealing with something. And with the upbringing I had, I shouldn't have had this sort of void in my life. But what I realized was that that's what it was. I had such an empty heart. Even though I knew about faith and I knew about God, I knew about Jesus, there was this, without walking hand in hand with him, this hole inside my heart was just completely absent of any hope. It lacked purpose. It lacked self-control. And it was just pure desperation, if I'm honest with you. And it got to a point where things got desperate. I was hurting a lot of people with my lifestyle. Like literally, I could write a book of how many people I've hurt with the way I was living. And throughout it all, I still tried to go to church where I could. I was still trying to get involved in those circuits because I knew it was right in my heart of hearts. But the way I was living wasn't reflecting, the freedom we're meant to live in. And it got to a point where something had to change. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here today, like genuinely speaking. Wow. And it happened when I was in the quiet place. I was in a place of desperation. I got down on my hands and knees, cried out to God and said, God, if you are real, I need a real life-changing encounter with you right now. I don't need to just play church. I don't need to be another person that just attends a building. I need a revelation of a life-changing power that is going to do me for life. I needed this. I needed it, mind, body, and soul. And that night I was reduced to tears. I was filled with the Holy Spirit, and Christ touched me like I can never explain. And the one thing I feel, and I've felt it ever since then, and it has never left me, is a complete peace. Every void that was in my heart, every part of my heart that was empty, is now full. It's overflowing. Like, I'm so happy because I know Jesus. He changed my life, but not even just a little bit. He radically changed my life. So much so I've now got a beautiful wife. And as he said, being able to serve all these beautiful people in Moldova, it's just absolutely incredible, because now it looks like I'm walking in the path that the Lord had for me, not the path that this young lad that didn't know who Jesus was or didn't know his identity was. So yeah, here we are.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for being so honest and open about that as well. It's not only easy to say such things, I know. And in terms of the music, how involved are you with Ellie? Do you write together? How does that all work as a couple?
Yeah, so it's kind of a mixed bag, really. But I teach Chinese children on Skype. So when we're on the mission field, I'd be teaching away.
Yeah.
And when we went out to Moldova, we laid down the music completely because we didn't feel it was part of this next season. And we felt it was part of the obedience, didn't we?
Yeah.
Laying it all down at his feet. And it was one afternoon, about 6 months into the journey, I'd be teaching away. And I heard in the other room Ellie playing the piano. And I just heard this lyric come out. And what it actually was is now the chorus of My Beautiful Child, the one you've just heard. And this song birthed. So I put the lesson on pause. I came out and I said to Ellie, what's happening? She says, the Lord's downloading songs. So we both were excited from that moment, weren't we?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't write songs without Tim, though, because I'm not very good at the piano. I just kind of sing it to him, like, here's my idea, like, make it sound good, and then he'll do something amazing. It's a good team.
She's very generous with her words. I don't do something amazing. I just play a few chords and help her work out the musical side. And being entirely honest with you, the quality of the album is only that quality because of our producer, Dima.
Yeah, incredible.
This guy, honestly, like, if you're talking about a musical genius, he is one of them. He's a local Moldovan lad, born and raised Moldovan. He's in a famous band out there called Not an Idol, who are just, sharing the gospel at all their concerts. They're seeing amazing stuff happen. Yeah. And I'd seen him perform a few times. I knew who he was. And then one night, him and his wife, Julia, randomly, with some other friends, ended up at our house having a Mexican night in the middle of Moldova. And it was just such a surreal experience. And that night, we knew that God had actually positioned him to be our next producer. He asked us, are you thinking of creating some more music? And it was just the timing of having just written the other songs. So Dima came on the scene, became best of friends, and the guy basically arranged, we did the original demos with the piano and the vocal, but this guy, did hours on end in his studio, getting all the pre-production.
I mean, that's what's amazing about this album, is that everything was using Moldovans, even the photography, the album work. The sound engineer, our producer, musicians, all of them were Moldovan.
Yeah.
Just this insanely talented people that just brought life to our music. It was just such a blessing, amazing.
Well, it's incredible from obviously the first track we heard, and we're going to hear another track now, and Tim, that fits nicely into off the back of your testimony, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think if we're talking about the same song, I think it's called After All. Yeah. Is that right?
That's the one.
Yeah, so this song is, Ellie actually wrote it, but I've kind of stolen the meaning of it, and it's kind of, I've owned it. But the first verse, I think it says, even though I stumble, even though I fail, how you never give up on me. And that pretty much sums up my journey. In my own strength, in my own ability, I tried so many times to change the way I was living. I tried to lay all these things down and do a U-turn. And it wasn't till I laid it all at Christ's feet that he actually took me on the journey and said, come on, I've saved you. Come and walk with me. So that's After All.
Brilliant. Let's have a listen to that now. This is After All.
Unsettled mind, unsettled feet. Lord, I need your clarity. Laying down my selfish heart. Show me, Lord, your perfect way. Within the midst of trial and change, I see your hand and I hear you say, just take my hand and I'll show you the way. Won't you run with me and leave your fear behind you, my precious child, the apple of my eye. Won't you stay with me? Won't you stay with me and show me your heart? Show me your heart. The road is long and far too steep. There's so much there that I can't see. I need your peace and I need your freedom. Show me, Lord, your perfect way. Within the midst of grief and pain, I see your hand and I hear you say, just take my hand and I'll show you the way. Won't you run with me and leave your fear behind you, my precious child, the apple of my eye. Won't you stay with me? Won't you stay with me? Just take my hand and I'll show you the way. Won't you run with me and leave your fear behind you, my precious child, the apple of my eye. Won't you stay with me? Won't you stay with me? Let go of your preconceptions. Let go of your restless heart. Let go of the fear that's holding you back. When you call my name, there is freedom. Hold on to my truth and promise. Hold on to my endless hope. Whoa. Hold on to the joy and fullness I bring. When you take my hand, there is show me your heart. Show me your heart.
That was, in fact, Take My Hand by Ellie Button. Guys, I do apologise. I pressed the wrong button and played the wrong song, but it was still a fantastic song nonetheless. But we'll listen to After All in just a moment. But please tell me a bit about Take My Hand and the background behind that.
Yeah, so Take My Hand is all about taking God's hand and just follow wherever he leads me. Like I said, moving to Moldova, it was a real challenge in so many different ways, spiritually, physically, mentally. It was a real challenge for me. I had to work through a lot of fear that I didn't know I had in my heart. And it's amazing that God has to sometimes take you out of your comfort zone to reveal to you what's really going on deep inside. And in this song, I just heard God say to me, just let go of your fear, let go of your doubt, your preconceptions, and just take my hand and just trust me. Just like a dad would to their kid, come on, take my hand and I'll show you the way to go. And that's what I did. And I decided to take his hand. And as soon as I did, everything changed. My whole mindset on our journey in Moldova completely flipped. And I was just seeing God in every single little thing. And it was just incredible. He just revealed to me again and again how good he is and how faithful he is during our whole journey there.
It's a beautiful song and fabulous production, the strings, and I love a guitar solo, as you know. I'm partial to a guitar solo, so absolutely great to hear other people doing that as well. And so we're now going to hear After All. So Ellie, what's your perspective on this? And we heard Tim's perspective earlier on, but what's your perspective on After All?
Yeah, I think it's the same really. Just, no matter how much we stumble or fail, he will just never give up on us. What an amazing pursuing love that God has. And the chorus is simply, what a love I found in you. Really, God was just downloading to me. Even while I was writing this song at the piano, I just felt like I could hear the strings, you could just hear this melody kind of just forming in my head of God just revealing his love to me through the sound of the strings, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, I get that as well, writing songs. I can hear the finished version. It's mad, but I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, this is After All by Ellie Button.
Even though I stumble, even though I fail, how you never give up on me. Even though I struggle, even though I fear, how you never give up on me. What a love I found, what a love I found in you. Following your footsteps, following your voice, how you never give up on me. Believing in your promise, believing in your truth. just wanna be with you.
Marvellous. That was After All. We seem to have some technical issues, so we're going to come off air and come straight back on straight away. So bear with us while we sort stuff out behind the scenes. We'll be back on in a minute or so. I'm just going to come straight off and straight back on. God bless you.